Good evening, class, and Professor Thomas. My choice for graphic novels for this assignment was The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. His creative team would be Derek, Derek Ruiz and Danielle Sampieri, and others, which is how it's listed. This novel already starts off as mysterious. HarperCollins is the publishers, and this is the 2010 edition. The page count is about 200. Well, it goes up to about 210 or 15, but it's a lot of artwork at the end for the characters. The actual story ends on page 200. Is this a graphic novel, a genuine graphic novel? It is. It's adapted from Paulo's original novel, which is The Alchemist. The graphic novel is adapted from that, so it is. It's not a compilation. Um, the story, Act One, will end about page 75, and Act 2 will end about page 127. The story belongs to young Santiago, who is a young shepherd who is on the quest of his life to find his personal legacy, which is his goal. And the conflict in Act 2 does support this because he runs into obstacle after obstacle as it directly relates to him achieving his goal of this buried treasure. At the end of Act 1, he encounters a king, Melchizedek, who sets him off on his journey, much like when Luke Skywalker meets the little recording of the princess when she tells him to find Obi-Wan. And this would be when at the end of his stay on Tatooine. Well, this would happen on page 75 in this story. The story does have a solid story arc. The beginning, we get to learn about we get to know young Santiago, and he's lost. He's on this quest. He wants to discover who he is and leave his personal legacy behind. Um, that's the beginning. The middle of the story is the conflicts that he encounter, a series of robberies and setbacks, and he's misled along the way. By the end of Act 2, which happens about page 127, he encounters and falls in love with an Arabian girl named Fatima, who gives him the additional motivation that he needs at this point to continue through to Act 3 and resolve his story. Do any of the characters have a solid character arc? Yes. Santiago does have a solid character arc. He does start out as naive, maybe we could call him immature, but he goes through a series of conflicts through Act 2 that turn him into a man, and his resolve is set that there's no going back in the other direction. He has to realize this goal by the end of Act 2. Does the story establish and have effective transition based on McLeod's ideas of transitions? It does. Well, the way McLeod's transition in the Western paradigm, McLeod says that transitions are two, let's see, 2, 3, and 4, which would be action to action, subject to subject, and scene to scene. This is the Western paradigm of McLeod's transition concept. Well, with The Alchemist, it differs a little bit with what McLeod would say is the Eastern paradigm, because on McLeod's chart, which starts with 1, which is moment to moment, that is the dominating transition, moment to moment, and it would go from 1, 2, and 4, which would be moment to moment, action to action, and scene to scene, is how I would categorize uh, The Alchemist. Does the story use the page as a mini comic idea? Absolutely. So each page with this story is a microcosm of the entire story. So each graphic would be, I'm sorry, each page graphic would be a mini comic in itself. In fact, if you just go through the story without reading it, you could see the story unfold from panel to panel and from page to page. If there were no dialogue in there, you could actually almost see the story unfold in just picture forms. Um, this is directional flow. Yeah, this it guides you right through. So, for example, he uses his transition, he goes from moment to moment. So it's a little easier for him to control the flow with moment to moment, with directional flow, because he uses more of the transition of number 1, which is moment to moment. So your eyes just the comics just lead the I'm sorry, the artwork just leads your eyes right from panel to panel, and it's not a jarring experience at all. um, Would I recommend this to my classmates? Absolutely. I think I think that I wanted to read The Alchemist a long time ago, and I haven't had time with a lot of other reading and things going on. But so I saw the opportunity to just start here with the graphic novel, and so I will recommend the graphic. I mean, I would recommend this book to anybody that's on a personal quest in life, that's looking for answers, that there is something inside of them that needs to be satisfied. Um, I would also recommend it to friends, anyone that, with the classmates, it's different. We all have a goal in mind, not just to finish the degree program, but to become writers and artists or copywriters or screenwriters or whatever, our personal goals may be. And so when you set out on that kind of journey in life, the Alchemist is about each and every one of us. We're all Santiago with that journey. For someone that's happy right where they are in life, this might not be the book for them. Um, any other observations that I made? Some of the most profound quotes can be found in this book. 1, people are capable at any time in their life of doing what they dream. That's one quote from the book. Another one is, when you want something, all the universe conspires to help you. Another one, never stop dreaming. The fear of suffering is worse than suffering itself. The secret of life is to fall down 7 times and rise up 8. All these are quotes from the book, observations that I made, and there's dozens of them. The entire book is quotable. And the fun fact is, which I want to say this at the beginning, but Paulo Coelho said that in 1987 he sat down to write this book, and it only took him 2 weeks. And when they asked him, well, how is that possible? He said that it was already written in his soul.